Travis and Goodsell. The sons of Mosiah and Alma were seeking to destroy the church. This is a common story that's taught in church classrooms and pulpits, as Mormons use it to convince wayward Mormons to come back to the church, or to justify why Mormons stray from the church. They accuse them of seeking to destroy the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, because that's what Alma and the sons of Mosiah were doing, going about to destroy the church of God. For he did go about secretly with the sons of Mosiah, seeking to destroy the church and to lead away the people of the Lord, contrary to the commandments of God, or even the king. And they were rebelling against God. And so Mormons see church in the scriptures and automatically assume that it's referring to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. That's a fallacy. Nonetheless, that's what Mormons believe. And as a result, Mormons don't see that it is they who are Alma and the sons of Mosiah, who are antichrists and who are going against Joseph Smith's organization. And if you dare tell them, they will get very upset, just like the Antichrist did in the Book of Mormon. Even to the point where the one Antichrist committed murder to enforce his priestcraft. Mormons do that too. And so this 180 switch is how the church just laughs and goes, yeah, we're so cool. But there are literally Mormons selling their soul to the church, thinking that it's the right thing to do. I did the video the other day about Kwaku selling his soul to Fair Mormon. If you don't know, Kwaku came out with a video during the Black Lives protests. Kwaku is black. Kwaku is Mormon. And Kwaku has had to try to justify being black and being Mormon. Kwaku had been going to BYU. If you forgot, the statue of Brigham Young at BYU was tagged. It had racist written at the bottom, and then the red dye paint, whatever, dumped over it. And so Kwaku felt it necessary to come out and say that the church is not racist. He's a denier of truth. Because the Gospel Topics essay on race and the priesthood says, yeah, Brigham Young's a racist. They couldn't accuse Joseph of this one thing. This is the one thing they could not accuse Joseph of. Because Joseph ran for president as an abolitionist. Joseph gave priesthood to blacks. And that's what blacks embrace to stay in the church. Is that, well, hey, Joseph Smith gave us the priesthood. And then they just excuse what Brigham Young did as a protection by Brigham Young? No. you can't excuse racism in any and all of its forms. And so as a result, Kwaku, by excusing Brigham Young's racism as a black man, Fair Mormon said, "You've passed. You can join Fair Mormon and be among our group and do videos through our YouTube channel. But you'll have to wear a suit. No more of this casual wear." So yeah, Kwaku sold his soul. Burgess Owens. This is in politics, but it's for Utah politics. And Utah is the same as the church. And Burgess Owens turned on America. He's a traitor. And why? Well, if you understand the campaign issues, he's deep in debt. He's had IRS problems. He's hurting. His football money is gone. And so how does he get money in an alt-right Republican state? And so he has to play the Republican card in order to win. This is what Mia Love did. She played the alt-right card to claim that, oh, I'm one of you, I believe in your values. And then Trump came out with his infamous statement, Mia Love showed me no love. And then all of a sudden Mia Love was woke. Yeah, a little too late, and a little unbelievable. You knew what you were doing when you picked up the snake. Same with Burgess Owens. He knows what's right and wrong. He just needs money. And he sold his soul to the Republican Party of the inverted pentagram, because that's the majority of Mormons here in Utah. There's some others that you may not know of, who I've known personally. There's Ed Goebel. We had started up a little counter Fair Mormon organization. We were going to be an actual science-based organization where we were going to have papers published to try to push support for the church through science. And so yes, this was long before I was extorted by my bishop to quit my job or leave or not show up to church. And Ed had come up with a theory for the translation of the Book of Abraham. It's different than mine, but because I had promoted my decipherment, that's how he recognized my posts on Facebook, and wanted me to be a part of his club, but then didn't want to be the president. But one day, I don't think it was Fair Mormon. I think it was the BYU version from the Maxwell Institute, who said that they would publish his paper But he had to do them a favor, though. He had to denounce his pursuit of science-based research. And so Ed Goebel denounced science to have his manuscript published. Again, selling his soul to the church. And then Daniel Trotter. When I had gotten out, he was in the ward that I was in first, as people had brought me to church. And if you don't know the backstory, you're going to have to watch my other videos. This is not what this is about. But I didn't sell my soul, and that's why I was locked up. Disappeared from Utah society. Disappeared from existence. Because I refused to sell my soul. But Daniel Trotter thought that he would take me under his wing, because he thought that I was some kind of newbie. But, you know, whatever. If I'll give him a chance to allow himself to produce the fruits of wanting to be my friend. And helped him with moves, and he tried to get me on the missionary committee with him. He was the ward mission leader. And they said no. But he nonetheless tried to befriend me, thinking that he was going to fellowship me into activity, as I'd been disappeared, coming back to church, etc. And so he would go to the temple with me. When he got married, I wasn't invited to the wedding. I was invited to the reception. But they invited me to go along with the book signing out in, I'm forgetting the name of the place, Elko, back when they had their flood, and the partial lunar eclipse that was covered by the mist of darkness. Whereas the flood did not affect Salt Lake City, where Nelson held his similar event here in Utah, because it's the same annual thing, and it was kind of canceled this year because of coronavirus. Sort of. I think they may have actually held it, because it was back in February when it would have been held. Can't remember now. But the one in 2017 is where Nelson talks about his experience with the dead, and critics have jumped all over that. But Daniel Trotter had gone to a con artist, telling people that they can become rich by selling themselves. So you make a book all about how wonderful and great you are, and it'll sell. You become the product. So that's what he did. He came from Southern California, was involved in a gang, and he bottomed out. He tanked, and then came to God through the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And so now he writes his book about how the church saved him, and it's not really the church, unless he needs to say that it's the church to sell his soul. And he denounces all the evils of gangs and drugs and women and pornography. So yeah, he turned to idolatry, not understanding what the real evil was. That it was a mentality, not the idols. And he was pushing it so much that the church pulled their old tactic of you need to calm down, quit being so obsessed with yourself, and offered him a mission assignment, and it was to work with the homeless downtown. And so he immediately jumped on it, and thus it put his book on hold for the most part. The lectures that he was doing on hold, because he has to talk up his book in church conversations, and set up talking to people around the wards in the valley. So yeah, the church wanted to put a stop to that as quick as possible, and they censored him to some extent. Then his missions finally ended, and so he was back on tour, this time with the news. He had made contacts. Big Buddha interviewed him, and another guy interviewed him, and another local news has interviewed him. He's done several news things now that his mission is over, because he's again trying to promote his book. Not so much his music, which kind of disappointing. His music's good, but when he learned that I was now destroying the church and leading astray the Mormons and trying to overthrow the church and persecuteth the church, he gave up on me. He backed off. And it sort of began with the divorce, but the divorce came as I was doing research, as Bishop Nelson had extorted me to quit my job or quit church. So I quit church. Nobody's going to extort me on truth. And so, yeah, I was doing research and then doing videos about what I had discovered from my research. And so Daniel Trotter, having sold his soul to the church, was no longer my friend. No longer contacted me. I even found out that he had dropped me from LinkedIn. Now that's pretty big if you drop me from LinkedIn. Denounce me as a friend on Facebook. Yeah, everybody does that. I'm no longer on Facebook, but yeah, he and his wife denounced me on LinkedIn, because I could no longer find them in my list of contacts or whatever it's called. He had dropped me, and and so now I know him by his fruits, that he was trying to get me to sell my soul, that he wasn't really my friend, that he was only interested in molding me into his image. And so, yes, like my mother, like my parents, who betrayed me as well, sold their soul to the church, betraying their firstborn birthright blessing son. This is the tragedy of Mormonism. Selling your soul to the church to denounce truth. Because Daniel Trotter, he didn't see how the church is just like the gang that he was in Southern California. He doesn't recognize the loyalty oaths that you have to give to the church. The selling of your soul to the church. For him, he just says, oh, well, it's for God, therefore it's not the same. That's not how God works. And so as a result, he was the one who was blinded. He's the one going around destroying the church. All of these that I've talked about, these guys are all going around destroying the church, leading astray Mormons, trying to overthrow it, persecuting the church, antichrists. Because none of them believe in the true Christ of Joseph Smith's teachings. Right there in the Book of Mormon. The learning of the Jews. That's our religion. Summed up in a sentence. Our religion is after the learning of the pre-captivity. Because remember, Lehi was before the Jews got taken captive into Babylon. And so it's the pre-captivity Jews, the house of Israel, who are Egyptian, which is why they said in the language of the Egyptians. And if you are believing in the Christian variation, syncretic merge between Christianity and Mormon, that you believe in a second coming of a historical Jesus from the Roman Empire, but he's not a trinity, he's a separate being of flesh and bone, then you're wrong Christ. You're now an antichrist because you believe in the wrong Christ. And so Mormons, they don't try to confound me anymore. Some of them try to bait me into allowing comments to be free for all without me screening them first. But I keep telling over and over again, I will allow anybody's comment, even if they challenge me, as long as you can be sound in your argument. If you're just wanting to abuse me, tell me that I'm ugly, fat, bald, or dumb, or if you're wanting to just refuse to argue that the church is true, just by saying, no, church is true, you're a betrayer, you've done all this list. I can't have a discussion with you. You have shut off communication because you are a deceiver. You're the one trying to destroy. And so I cannot communicate with such people. But if people genuinely want to have a discussion, that's fine. I will have a discussion with you. We will debate the issues. And I can't get any takers. No Mormon is successful in defending the current church. They can't do it. And I am able to silence the majority of Mormons who do make a comment by simply saying that they're going against the Book of Mormon. They're going against Joseph Smith and his teachings. And all of a sudden that's like, what? Me? Because I'm able to show the passage from the Book of Mormon which they're going against, or from Joseph Smith of which they're going against, and confounded instantly. See, Kwaku will never challenge me. He will never debate me. I went on his channel and said, I'll debate you. When he was offering people to debate and threatening people who weren't Mormon, It's Me Jesse was the one. He wanted to debate her, and they were trying to egg her on to get into a debate about Mormonism. And I said, hey, no, leave her alone. She's an investigator. Debate me. Nope. Won't do it. They won't touch me. They know they'll lose. If you know you're going to lose, so you don't want to get into a debate, why are you going around challenging those who aren't Mormon and who aren't knowledgeable on the scriptures and stuff to a debate? So, alrighty, time for me to go for my run. I'll finish this video. Oh, man, it took too long. This thing's gonna finish before I get back. Alright, so don't sell your souls. I mean, this is the last days. You're dying. The church has deceived you. They've gotten you to sell your soul to the church, and you're dying from coronavirus. To demand that you can go back to church to spread the virus, escalate it more, go to school, go missions, go to the temple, go to the businesses, go to work. They're all trying to get you to sell your soul. And this situation is the dangerous one, because you're dying if you sell your soul. Physically, not just spiritually. That's why I keep warning you. And I don't know why I do. I'm the only one who truly cares for your welfare. And you don't care about mine.